Throughout my whole entire life, I've always had bigger legs in comparison to my upper body. Like, I am very pear-shaped, very hourglass shaped, which I love, but that hasn't always been the case. However, what today's video is actually about is how I've ended up changing my leg. Growing up, I actually used to hate my body. I was born in 95, so I'm 30, and I just used to look at my friends and be like, why am I shaped like this? Like, why do my legs look the way that they do? Why does my bum stick out in my school pants? Little things like I just always notice the shape of my body, and as I've got older, I've realised we all come in different shapes and sizes, and that is beautiful. And you know, we all don't look the same, which is amazing. We don't want to look the same, but yeah, I love my body shape. Yeah, when I was younger, that definitely wasn't the case. As I've got older and as I've gone through my fitness journey, I've really loved to just love my body for what it is and what it can do. Although what I did find was through years of training and eating healthy and having a really good diet, even though I did all of the right things to build muscle and lose fat and change my physique, I felt like my legs didn't really change that much for how much I've trained. Like, I started working out properly when I was 21, so it's been 9 years, and over, I'd say, up until about 3 years ago, my legs just didn't really change shape. They would lose body fat, I'd be able to lose body fat from them, and they would go a little bit smaller, but in comparison to my upper body, which can get really lean, my legs just didn't change that much. I have loads of cellulite on the back of my legs, I've got like bigger hips. That is just the way that I'm shaped, and genetically I just have a lot of cellulite, and that's the way that it is. And I'd say it's reduced a little bit, like throughout the time that I've worked out, but not a great deal. I actually think that I might have lipedema. Now, I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and diagnose myself. But it would explain a lot in terms of, like I said, working out for the amount of time that I have, and my legs just not really reflecting that. Also, with the cellulite on the back of my legs, it's not just like my skin is a little bit dimpled, like it's like pockets of fat on the back of my legs. And don't get me wrong, if I put on weight, the more weight I carry, it does get worse, or it can get better in terms of like the diet that I'm having, but those pockets of fat are like still there, and it always will be there. And even coming to terms with that like that's not really going to change has taken me a long time to sort of work through. For like my entire 20s, I basically just didn't wear shorts, and now I just don't care. I just think I work too hard in the gym, like not to be walking around in shorts in the summer, and now I actually love wearing shorts. And yes, you know, my legs might carry more body fat than I typically like, but like that's just me. That's my legs, that's my genetics, and that's just the way it is. And I'm actually okay with that now. And you know, life's too short not to wear the damn short. However, what today's video is actually about is how I've ended up changing my legs. Don't get me wrong, like I've still got the same shape, but I have significantly changed them over the past 3 years. And that is because there is specific things that I've focused on and changed within my training to get this result. So the reason that I've changed the shape of my legs is because I've built muscle. Now, I am someone who is very glute dominant. Like, I have successfully grown my glutes over the past, like I said, I've been training for 9 years, but I'd say my glute growth has definitely taken place mainly over the past 5 years, and the change in my legs, I would say, has taken place over the past 3 years. So yeah, I'm very glute dominant. So I feel like in every single leg exercise that I do, my glutes take over a lot. For example, you might do squats all the time and that helps your quad growth, whereas for me, like, it's all going to the glute, which, don't get me wrong, that is a problem to have. But when you're not seeing any definition in your quads, in your legs, it's really frustrating. And when it comes to building muscle, there are specific things which made the most difference for me, and that's what I'm going to run through in today's video. And I'm going to take you through all of them whilst I take you through one of my leg days. So at the minute, my program is very quad focused, but we've got glutes in there as well. So I'm going to take you through my leg day, and we're going to run through the key things which have made a huge difference in changing the shape of my legs. Okay, so the first one is actually training the right muscles. For such a long time, because I always thought I had big legs, I would always mainly focus on glute focused exercises, and I wouldn't really get very specific with quad focused exercises. So I'd never really do leg extension. You wouldn't catch me doing a hack squat. The lunges that I did were very glute focused. And I kind of just thought that because I was training squats and doing lunges and things like that, that my quads just would grow anyway. But like I said, I'm very glute dominant and my quads aren't very responsive. But I thought that didn't matter because, like I said, I already had like bigger shaped legs. So why would I want to make them bigger and bulkier? But when I actually started training my quads properly, the complete opposite happened. I started including quad focused exercises, hack squat, front foot, elevated lunges, leg extension. Like they're like good. In my plan today, you won't see them because I'm taking you through my other leg workout that I've got to do this week, but it is still quad focused. We've got some Smith machine squats in there. And what I realised is it wasn't about making them bigger, although I was growing muscle. Building muscle in my quads, in my legs properly actually changed how they look. They finally started to become more defined. They look more sculpted. They've got that definition there because of the muscle that I've built. Second point, progressive overload. If you want your muscles to grow, you have to give them the stimulus in order for them to grow. That means progressively challenging them. So we can do that a number of different ways, by increasing our reps, increasing our weight, changing our tempo, reducing our rest time. There's different ways that you can progressively overload different exercises. But that is key in order to grow muscle. If you are not progressively overloading your exercises most weeks, you will not see the changes that you want to see, and your legs won't change. One of the key things to make sure that you're implementing progressive overload is making sure that you're tracking your workouts each and every week. Like, I say this to my clients all the time. Can you remember what you had last Tuesday for your tea? Like what you had for dinner? No, you can't. So how are you going to remember what you did on the second set of your hack squat last week? Can you tell me how many reps that you've done? No, you can't tell me because you can't remember. And I have a terrible memory, but most people aren't going to remember that. You might remember the weight that you lifted, but you're not going to remember all of the reps and sets that you did for each and every exercise. When I started taking things seriously, I tracked every single workout, every rep, every weight. I do that in an app. I track all of my weights, I track all of my reps. So today when I go to do one of my exercises, I will look back in the app, I will look what I lifted last week and either try to add reps to that set, or if I'm at the end of my rep range, let's say the rep range is 8 to 10 and last week I got like 3 sets of 10, well, I'm going to move up in weight. You're not going to be able to do that every single week because of our hormones, because our cycle changes our energy levels, our strength level. Like, you're not going to see it consistently go up like that every single week because of our hormones. So that's really important to remember. Third point, training intensity. Guys, I cannot tell you how important it is to train with intention in the gym. There is a difference between choosing a weight and completing your reps and sets and actually training hard. What we're looking for is we don't have to push every single set and every single exercise to failure, but at the end of that set, we shouldn't really have many reps left in the tank. And what I see with a lot of women is they don't realize how strong they are. They don't realize how much they can really push themselves. And hopefully I'll try and get the angles in today's workout. You'll be able to see the intensity that I train with, and towards the end of my sets, I've barely got anything left. Like, if you are not throwing some crazy facial expressions in the gym, believe me, you're not training hard. Those sessions need to get ugly, my friends, okay? Like, we can go to the gym in our cute fits, we can look good, but when it comes to training, girl, you gotta lock yourself in and not care about what anyone thinks. Put your headphones on and fight for your life in there. Fight for your life. No, but genuinely, you probably don't realise how strong you are. I just wish that I could PT every single person and actually show them how strong they really are, because us girlies, we underestimate ourselves. We're stronger than we think we are. Just know I could come into your gym session and probably pick up 2 weights heavier than you think you can lift, and you'd still be able to do it for the same amount of reps. I bet you £10. Okay? I would bet more, but I'm not a gambler, okay? You don't need to destroy yourself in every single session. Like, you don't need to be walking out of the gym like throwing up or making yourself feel sick, but you need to push yourself. And when you really discover how to push yourself, that's when you'll start to see some amazing changes in your body, in your physique, in your legs. Like, that will change everything for you. Okay, next very important point, rest and recovery. You can train so hard in the gym and give it your all, but if you're going to the gym a silly number of times a week, or you're not sleeping very well, you're stressed all the time. I mean, I can't say anything because I'm quite stressed at the minute, but still, we can't be perfect at everything. If you just blitz yourself every single time you go into the gym, you don't really have any rest days, you will not see the progress you want to see. What happens is, when we're in the gym, we're creating these micro tears in our muscle. Our muscle is not built in the gym. Our muscle is built in R&R, rest and recovery, sleeping. So we need to make sure that we're having an adequate amount of rest. Otherwise, dude, you're stalling your progress. And you don't want to train like a freaking beast in the gym and then mess up your progress outside of the gym by just running yourself into the ground. So yeah, it's an important part of the process. Next, and this isn't in order of importance because they're all really important, nutrition. Did you think I was gonna make a training day vlog and not talk about nutrition? No, of course not. I'm a nutritionist. That would be silly. I'm always gonna talk about nutrition, so get used to it. I'm sorry to break this to you, but building muscle and changing your body composition, which is what I've done in my legs, that doesn't just happen from ticking all of the boxes in terms of your training. You can train hard, you can push yourself close to failure, you can rest and recover, but if you are not supporting yourself with nutrition, straight to jail. Okay? Straight to freaking jail. It's not happening. It's not gonna work for you, darling. It's important. I can't even tell you how important it is. Like I said before, when we go to the gym, we're breaking down, we're making those little micro tears in our muscle. How do you think we repair ourselves? We repair ourselves with protein, my friends. Protein is the building block. We need it for so many different processes in our body. For building muscle, it is essential. I feel like most people know that by now, but I just see it all the time. People train so hard and then they kind of just like eat whatever, whenever, and then get frustrated that they're not seeing the results that they want to see. And they always think it's the training. It's not. It's probably your nutrition or all of the above that I've already spoke about today. And I think what's important to tell you about my own transformation is I haven't built my physique and changed the shape of my legs through always being in a calorie deficit. I'll insert a picture of back in 2020. Like, I would constantly be in a calorie deficit. In order to get to my goal, I would just constantly keep needing to lose weight. I was still weight training, but I didn't really understand the concept before I was a PT or nutritionist that in order to build muscle, we need fuel. We need food to build muscle. Now, I'm not saying you need to be in a crazy surplus all the time. I've actually built most of my muscle at maintenance. Sometimes I've been in a surplus, sometimes accidentally. I must say. Like, I'm just being totally honest with you. I'm not going to say like, oh, like I planned a bulk. Like, no, sometimes my eating's got out of control and I've gained weight. But most of the time I have developed my physique, I have grown muscle, I have created the shape of my body through having my calories at maintenance or a slight surplus. If you're always in a calorie deficit, it's not gonna work, sister. It might do in the beginning, like if you're new to weight training, our body adapts really well to when we first start lifting weights. But the further you get into your fitness journey, darling, it doesn't work. It does not work. We need the fuel, we need the energy in order for us to push ourselves in our lifts and in order to give our muscles what it needs in order to repair and grow bigger. And then what happens is when you go through these building phases or these maintenance phases, we're increasing our strength, we're growing the muscle that we need to, and then guess what we do? Honey, we do a cut. Then go into a calorie deficit, we lose a little bit of body fat, and then we reveal the muscle that we've spent so long building. I'm currently in a calorie deficit. I go on holiday in 2 weeks, and then when I get back, I'm back into a calorie deficit because I have a photo shoot in 4 weeks. So if you want to follow along the journey, then follow me on Instagram because there's lots of real-time updates on there. I'm constantly updating my progress on my stories, in my broadcast channel, so check that out. And you know what I love about the cutting phases? I'm someone who can gain body fat quite easily, and it'll go to my belly, it'll go to my legs, and then when I do a cut, it's like boom, oh my god, she's got so much muscles. It's truly a fantastic experience. Like, I absolutely love it, because every time I do a cut, I'm always like, whoa, we've been building. Yeah, which is lovely. Like, it's lovely doing a cut and then revealing all of the hard work that you've been putting in to build the muscle. And without me doing all of those things that I've spoke about above, my legs would still look the same as they do in this photo. They are all the specific changes that I made in order to change the shape of my legs. So yeah, that's how I completely changed the shape of my legs. They're now more toned, they're now more defined, they're now more sculpted, unless I do another bulk and then I'm going to gain body fat there again. But every time I do a cut, my legs look way more defined, way more sculpted, way more toned. And it wasn't by always trying to lose body fat and make myself smaller. It was actually by building muscle, training smarter, and staying consistent. Like I've said, those changes have really taken place for me over the past 3 years when I've concentrated on all of those points that I've made above. And if it's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, is you can't spot reduce fat, and if your legs look similar to mine, it might also be hard in terms of our genetics, like how much fat we can actually lose from our legs. However, if we focus on building muscle and doing it properly, we can change the shape of our legs, and it's not going to make them look bulky, it's not going to make them look bigger, it's actually going to make them look more defined, more sculpted, and more toned. And yes, I still have cellulite there, yes, I still have stubborn fat there, but when we focus on the things that we can control, we can actually make such a significant difference. So guys, please let me know if this video helped you. Like my video, because let's be honest, if you got to this point in the video and you don't like it, like, that's weird, you know? That's freaking weird. Just like it. Just give me a like. Yeah, let's grow together. Let's grow on YouTube together. Let's grow our bodies together. Let's grow our mindsets together. Make sure you subscribe because we're now weekly. And I'll catch you in the next one, darlings. Bye-bye.